pause to think about what really powers the HR platforms we use every day at work today? Not just the tech part of it, but the thought behind it, the empathy, the frustration of users, and the visible and invisible gaps we still haven't bridged. Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk by Tekstac. Joining me today is Sampath Kumar, Vice President of Platform Development at Tekstac, a 360-degree skilling platform. From building HR tech for industry giants to now reimagining it from the ground up at TechStack, Sampath brings a unique perspective as both a user and a creator. In this episode, he opens up about the challenges, the choices, the mindset that is needed to create HR tech platforms that are not just smart but human at its core. Welcome, Sampath, and thank you for joining me for the conversation today.
Yeah, hi, Mamta. That's nice to meet you.
Let me start by asking you this. When you look at HR tech platforms today, the n number of them existing, where do you think most of them fall short?
I've been using multiple platforms, and what I see is the falling short on the platform aspect. Learning skill validation is a kind of a shortfall in these platforms, and I will elaborate why it is. And what I see is the users who are going through learning, skilling, there is no holistic view of what is their skill validation. So if a user is taking up a learning, they take up in one particular platform and they get into another platform, or they try it out practicing it in another platform, and they end up in taking up assessment in a different platform. So in holistic view, the actual user journey from a learning perspective is not captured. So what I feel is if a platform can actually provide a learning, then practice, then followed with an assessment, that gives a validation of the skill. That means how a user has really learned it, whether the user has practiced what they've learned, and finally whether they're able to prove that they have acquired the skill. So that makes a big difference when these are integrated in a single platform, and which can provide a holistic view of what a skill validation is.
A very important point there, because any number of learnings won't help until somebody is assessing you on what is the outcome for that learning is. You have been a platform user in your past roles, and you're building one at TechStack. What has been the viewpoint shift that you have gone through when you moved to the other side?
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I was a user of similar platforms, and when I actually moved to the other side, what I feel is the kind of the requirement understanding of what the business needs. Actually, when we build something, we assume that the user might need these functionalities, or they might use a platform, something like this. So that's an assumption most of the product or platform go with. But when we know both sides, it actually helps in aligning with what the business actually needs. So it helps in understanding the pain points the business teams have. That means what they wanted to address. So that helps in bringing up the capabilities within the platform way ahead of they rising those pain points, so that when they really face it, the platform supports and provides a solution which is needed for them. So that actually helps in one meeting the on-demand kind of a requirement they have, and also aligning with their objectives on what they wanted to achieve. So what I feel is knowing both sides and helping building a platform which aligns to business requirements makes a big difference in way they will be able to achieve what they want.
Absolutely. You talk about pain points. That gets me to my next question on, the biggest challenges that exist in building a tech that needs to work well, just, as good as for the L&D leader or the manager, as does it for, the other business domains. Do you think there needs to be a differentiator? You need to have different ways to put it for them?
That's a fantastic question. So I'll kind of give us few scenarios. So what I see looking from both the perspectives is the other domains, for example, whether it's a retail type of an industry or a banking industry, the end product is something different. But when it comes to HR or learning type of a platform, our end product is a human skill. So that actually brings in a different perspective on how you have to understand it, because like when it's banking, you just kind of provide a platform where the end user goes and use the platform, buy something in a retail aspect. But when it comes to learning and HR platforms, uh, we are dealing with humans who actually have to get skilled, so which is actually more important. And also the kind of uh, uh, the requirements gathering and understanding of how a user will use the platform is completely different. So I feel making a HR platform and making it work to provide a skill for a user is more important.
Absolutely. We spoke about the pain points and also, what the present HR tech platforms lack today. So if you had to share from your own journey and tell or give an advice to tech professionals who are building it, what do they need to keep in mind when they're building tools, especially for people centric domains like HR and learning?
So with respect to the people who are the tech professionals who are building the platforms for HR and learning, though their more focus would be learner centric. So what I see is, from a learner centric perspective, if the application or the platform is built, then all the user journeys becomes very smooth, and also there are a lot of chances the utilization of it goes from a push to pull. That means like we need not actually ask someone to go and learn, rather the user uh, have a tendency to go and do the learning themselves. So like a shift in a push to pull will happen automatically if it's more learner centric type of a platform design.
True. Thank you for sharing that from your journey. And if you had to leave our listeners with that one lesson about building for scale and also simplicity and relevance, what would that be? It could be very complicated, but and very high tech. But if it doesn't serve the purpose, then it's of no use. So, what would you want to share to our audience, that one lesson that they can keep in mind?
Uh, when you look from a technology perspective, it's quite advanced now. I mean, given that from a scalability perspective, from a security perspective, from a availability perspective, so all those things are already quite advanced. But if I have to leave a message to the users and the professionals who are actually building these type of platform, what I see is customization is a key thing. Now you just kind of can't make a platform which fits all. So we'll have to think right from the design perspective, what how quickly the platform or our needs can be customized. That's one. And agility to adopt to the learning types. So what I see is, like, when it comes to learning, now there are different types of learning modes. That means like a platform who is building, like we should be able to build in such a way that we should be able to adopt to the quick agility and have the various learning modes built into the platform, so that it helps in just in time learning, learn anytime. And that will actually give a more opportunity for the users to come in to the platform for the learning purpose.
That's a very relevant point, Sampath, because every learner has a different level of learning capability. So that customization, I think it's very, very relevant in today's scenario. Thank you for sharing all those insights, Sampath. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, and again, nice to meet you here. Bye.
Thank you, Sampath.